Good morning, everyone. My name is Judy Barry, and I am the Susan and John Turbin Director of the CVA Galleries in Chautauqua. It's with great pleasure that I get to introduce you to one of my favorite artists whose ceramic works we show, Yoko, Sekino, Bove. Good morning, Yoko.
Good morning, Judy. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. Well, I want to just jump in and say that I met you maybe 10 years ago in the art community of Pittsburgh. I think at Contemporary Craft was the first time we met. And I've been a huge fan of your work ever since. I know we featured your work in one of our curated shows about 6 or 7 years ago, but now we're lucky enough to have a variety of your work in our Bridge Gallery. So I just want to let our audience know a little bit about you. So I just have a few questions that I'm interested to let people know. First of all, tell us about your background, where you grew up, and what brought you to Western Pennsylvania.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. So I was born in Osaka, Japan, and grew up in Tokyo. So after graduating in art university with a graphic design degree, then I moved to the United States 25 years ago. So my husband accepted that teaching job in this area. So that's why we came into the Southwestern Pennsylvania about 15 years ago.
15 years ago, okay. And you live in Washington, PA, correct?
That's right.
And which is outside of Pittsburgh, and you're now teaching at California University of Pennsylvania?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I know your husband, and he's a talented artist too. So you are a dynamic couple. So when did you start to work in ceramics?
That's a good question. So 25 years ago, when I came to the United States, that I didn't speak much of English. So my student advisor at the community college that I entered put me into the ceramic class. That her idea was that I can at least look around and copy the people around me without much of a verbal communication. Then that I fell in love with ceramic making. Then I loved making actual object with my hands. So that I kept taking a ceramic class while I was working as a graphic designer. And then at one point I decided maybe I will give it a shot and see if I can survive.
And you did, and you did.
So good.
So I have a piece of yours here that I purchased from you, and I love this cup. I drink out of it every day because you told me there's a story behind this imagery in this cup, correct?
That's right.
So can you tell us about that?
Thank you. So the cup that you use, thank you so much, by the way, is about that keeping the health of the people who use it. Then my work is about the story or emotion that I start with the idea and gather up all the motifs and the shapes, scales, and the function. So the cup you have is about the health. That's a cup for green tea, and that's considered as a secret of longevity among the Japanese people. So I wanted to put things together for the people that's important to me to keep their health by using the green tea cup and drink green tea every day. That will keep you healthy. So that the 6 gold motifs that the idea of thank you for your help. So the idea is the word 6 gold in Japanese is the same pronunciation as the perfect health, no sickness. So by using those 6 goods as a motive, that I'm trying to maximize the protection for you and all the other people who use the cup. It may be just my secret message that people may or may not know the story behind, but I feel like that everyone can feel my intention or my message by using my work every day in their hands.
Well, I thank you for keeping me healthy. And I love the gourds visually, and I love the whole message behind them. And I really want to let people know that your work is very decorative in many ways, but also a lot of hidden messages, which is what I like so much about your work. And that is why I think it is so successful. It's utilitarian as well. You make teapots, you make cups, you make plates, platters. So I find your work a really interesting mix in aesthetics and meaning, which is what has drawn me to your work. So how has the pandemic affected your work? Are you doing more work, or are you able to work in your studio? I know a lot of artists are really struggling now, but some are thriving due to the isolation. So can you tell me a little bit about your life and how it's going right now?
Sure. Thank you for asking the important question. Now, I'm lucky to have a home studio. So when the pandemic started, that I ordered all the clay and the materials as much as I can stock in the house so that I can keep going. So I was one of the lucky ones. At the same time, as the pandemic keeps going, so many workshops and exhibitions were canceled, the galleries were shut down. Well, some of them are coming back now, and that's wonderful. But um, it takes an emotional toll too.
Mhm.
Just like you described, that my work is about the emotions and the stories. So if I'm shaken, then that my pieces get affected directly by it. So I think, well, one thing for sure that my pieces started shrinking, that it's getting smaller and smaller. So I have to remind myself that I can still make big pieces.
There
So
you go. Yes, I understand. So do you have any current projects that you're working on or that you've done in the last year that you want to share with us?
sure. So right now I'm working toward my solo exhibition at the Clay Studio in Philadelphia in December.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really honored. So that's my focus for now. Uh, Again, that the galleries are coming back, and I get invited to shows in the next year. So I'm very hopeful that we can still relate to each other, and we can still hold our hands symbolically through the work.
Mhm. And what type of work are you going to have in that show in Philadelphia?
So that all the pieces for this show will be the pieces that I made since the pandemic started. So super majority of the pieces will be functional, such as teapot or a cup or a plate. But as you described, that the function is not my goal in the ceramic making. So the function is to elevate or enhance the story I want to tell. So yes, the majority of the pieces will be a functional or usable ceramic pieces, but my focus will be about delivering the story using all the different elements.
Well, I talk to a lot of people about collecting. And the one thing that I talk about is living with art. And I personally love to have functional pottery in my home because it just makes me happy every day to use something, to know that every time I pick up something or mix something in a bowl that I got from an artist, that I'm really helping support and promote the artist and the arts in general. So I think you have had great success with that because of your combination of beautiful aesthetics and functionality with your work. And I think our audience has responded very well to that. So I think that's where you are unique with your talent and what you do. And it's been a pleasure for me to know you all these years and to continue to represent your work and have some Chautauqua visitors acquire it. So I think it's all a very good thing. So I think we'll end with the fact that I want to tell everybody, again, remind them that you are having a one-person show at the Clay Studio in Philadelphia in December, for the month of December. So I think they could get online to see that. And then you can also visit us at art.chq.org and get on our website, find the gallery page, and then from the galleries, go to the Bridge Gallery, where we have many of your works featured for sale for people to acquire for them personally or as gifts for the holiday. And I think it's a win-win for everybody. So I'm thrilled that you're having a show during this pandemic, and I'm more thrilled that we're able to continue to show your work. So Yoko, I want to thank you for a wonderful interview today and for being able for our audience to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's a great pleasure that sharing my work with the people at Chautauqua and beyond. Then please let me know if there's anything I can do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks again.
Thank you.